This video is brought to you by sellcashier.com. Sellcashier compares iPhone prices online and gives you a quick quote to get the most cash for your used iPhone. Check out the description down below to get a quick quote, ship your iPhone, and get paid. Hey, what's up folks? How's it going? This is Waj. Hope you guys are all doing well. And in this video, we're going to be doing a head-to-head speed test comparison between the new iPhone 10 and the Samsung Galaxy Note 8. So we're going to run through a couple of different scenarios in terms of the face recognition technology that's built into both of these, launch some apps and see how fast they run on both platforms, as well as do some general benchmarking as you would expect to see in a speed test video. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. Now, the first thing we're going to take a look at is the speed of the unlocking process using the facial recognition technology that's built into both of these devices. Now, both the iPhone and Note 8 have a whole bunch of different array of sensors to detect your face, including the actual physical front-facing camera, IR sensors, and a couple of different dot matrix systems to kind of analyze your facial patterns. And in normal well-lit lighting situations, you're not going to find any major differences between the two, but I found that in most cases, the iPhone 10 was a little bit more responsive, generally quicker, and certainly more accurate when it comes to recognizing your face in more tricky situations, such as in low light in this case. The other thing I noticed is since the iPhone 10 uses a neural network 3D mapping of your entire face, it actually does a better job of recognizing your face in a multitude of different conditions. So whether you're wearing eyeglasses, sunglasses, hats, whatever kind of apparel you're putting onto your face, it typically does a better job and more efficient job of recognizing your face and unlocking the device than the Note 8, in my opinion, which at times didn't recognize the face when I'm wearing a hat and you had to enter in your access code manually to get access to the phone. Now, moving on, taking a look at the more general performance of both of these two devices, we're going to run through and launch a whole bunch of different apps that you're going to use on a day-to-day basis and see which one simply loads up faster. So let's get right into it. Now next, before we run through our traditional benchmarks, we're just going to take a quick look at the raw specifications of the internal specs on both these two platforms. The Note 8 actually comes, our version, with a octa-core Qualcomm Snapdragon 835 chip, and even though we have 8 physical cores compared to Apple's A11 Bionic chip, which is a 6-core CPU comprised of 2 high-performance cores and 4 high-efficiency cores, as well as 3-core Apple-based GPU. In terms of RAM, we also have double the amount of RAM on the Note 8, 6 gigabytes opposed to 3 gigabytes on the iPhone 10. And even though the Note 8 has numbers and specifications on its side, if you take a look at our Geekbench benchmark results, you'll see both in terms of the multi-core and single-core performance, the iPhone 10 is completely wiping the floor of what the Note 8 has to offer based on these benchmark results, about 4,200 and 10,000 points on the iPhone 10 versus 1,800 and 6,500 points respectively for the Note 8. So a huge difference, almost twice the performance on the iPhone side. Now, if you take a look at another benchmark like Antutu, which tests a whole bunch of different things, including the GPU, multi-core, single-core performance, as well as the multitasking capabilities with the amount of RAM that we have on both devices. And even with this, it's still a pretty significant difference between the two, where the iPhone 10 is getting over 217,000 points versus 177,000 points on the Note 8. So certainly when it comes to these two performance benchmark results, the iPhone 10 is clearly the faster device. Now, in more real-world day-to-day experiences, you're probably not going to find a huge difference between the two, as we demonstrated with the app launching capabilities. Both are kind of head-to-head. The iPhone does load up some things a little bit faster, but not a major difference. And if you take a look at kind of a real world task that some people might want to do, which is edit their 4K videos in the device itself using the native editing apps available on each of the platforms, we just took a 45-second file, we shortened it down to 30 seconds, we added a black and white effect to both of the files, and we just are going to measure out the time it takes to export that 4K file into another 4K file. So the finished product took about 45 seconds to export on the iPhone X versus about 57 seconds using the Samsung Note editor. So both not too bad, but you can clearly state that the iPhone X is the faster device based on our experience and probably based on many people's experience when they do a head-to-head comparison. But really on that, guys, that's really it. From a general standpoint, I think the clear winner is definitely the iPhone X. The internal A11 Bionic chip that's in here is absolutely insane. And even though we have more physical cores and RAM on the Note 8, it still can't keep up with the current generation of iPhone X, as well as the 8 and 8 Plus, which have very similar internal specifications. Now, if you're interested in a thorough battery test comparison, we also have that video. You can check that out in the description down below, as well as a head-to-head camera test comparison between these two devices, so you have a good idea in terms of how they stand in all measures. But other than that, thank you so much for your support, and one last word from our sponsor. If any of you guys out there want to get rid of your used iPhone, there's actually a pretty quick and handy way to do it using sellcashier.com. They basically purchase all sorts of different iPhones. You basically select whichever phone you want to get rid of. They purchase actually all major US carriers, and they operate currently only in the United States. Just simply click through the carrier that you're using, the capacity of your iPhone, and the overall condition of your physical device, and then you'll get a fair quote to give you an estimate on how much the value will be for your used device. Cell Cashier can even cover the shipping costs, whether that's a prepaid label, providing your own box, or they'll send you a label and a box for free. So if you don't want to go through the other means of getting rid of your iPhone, this is definitely a handy and fast way to do it, and it's pretty secure as well. Again, check out the link in the description down below for more detailed information about everything.